Start streaming. All right. Now I'm good. Okay, now we're good. All right, we're all good. All right, we're live. We're live. Finally, we got you back. We got you back.
Finally, right? It's been like what, 3 weeks?
I know, yeah, 3 weeks, 3 weeks. What's good, everybody? It's the Shotcallers coming back. Thankfully, with a good friend, my co-host Robin Shada. He's back on the show. Say what's up, Robin.
What's up, guys? What's up, guys? It's been a long time.
All right. So we got a couple of games that were pretty fire in my opinion. The first one was mid, but yeah, the second one was definitely fire. I don't know what you think. What you think about both of these games so far?
Yeah, first one wasn't that good. I thought it was gonna be a lot better. Second
Yeah,
one for
yeah,
sure lived up. I think it just shows that the West is better. So that's all
yeah.
I think.
All
That's
right,
all I
you
think.
you probably right. You probably right. We gonna see though. We gonna see though. But before we get into everything, make sure y'all follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Shot Caller Show. Obviously, we're here on YouTube. Go ahead and hit subscribe if you want to keep up with our content. Hit that notification bell because our uh, our notifications can or our uploads can go under the radar sometimes. We're a small channel, so go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell as well. Also, leave us a like if you enjoy the content. Uh, if you want to leave us any DMs. Uh, Go ahead and hit us at Twitter or Instagram, also at Gmail, at shotcallershow that at gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube, obviously, and then you'll also be able to find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, everywhere you can find podcasts. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and hop right into the show. Starting out with the first game, Philly versus Miami. I thought all right. Well, I'll be honest with you. When I made my pick, I didn't think Joel Embiid was gonna play. He was out last game, so I was like, if Joel Embiid out, the Heat probably finna win.
Bro, you made your pick after the first quarter.
Okay, well, I wasn't watching the game. I was at work.
That he was
So,
already up 16, bruh.
bruh, nah,
I
that
don't want to hear that. You made your
no,
pick after the
no,
first quarter.
I didn't know though. I never looked. I never looked. I promise you. I promise you. Yes,
No.
and you gave us the picks like super late, so
I
it's
gave it to
okay.
you before the game started, though.
Well, I thought I responded like right after.
Nah, you didn't. You
Uh,
waited for the first quarter to
okay.
end. Smart
Well,
move by you,
anyway,
bro. I get you.
anyways, I made an honest guess. I made an honest guess. I did not look at the scores and nothing like that. Anyways, I picked Miami because I thought Joel Embiid would be out, but turns out that didn't really matter. The Heat started out the game. I mean, it was kind of back and forth at the very very beginning, but then uh, the Heat just pulled away with it. Like from the like towards the end of the first quarter, Tyler Hero got hot. Jimmy Butler was going. Bam was solid. The Heat defense looked a lot like the Heat defense. Like their rotations, like throughout the entire game, was good when they was playing the zone. Like they had no miscommunications. Like very rarely did they have any. Like they was all over the place, and Philly really couldn't do nothing. And I know Philly has one of the best defenses too, but Matisse Thybulle's out, uh, and Ben Simmons, he didn't. I feel like he didn't have that much impact on the game today. Well, what do you think?
Yeah, I think him and especially Joel Embiid. I mean, Embiid took
Yeah.
9 shots.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If I'm Joel Embiid and I'm playing a team that's obviously the Eastern Conference champions, winners from last year,
Mhm.
and they look like they're probably the hottest team in the East right now.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not gonna only take 9 shots. I'm gonna let them know like, hey, this is why we're the first seed.
Mhm.
And dude had what, 6 points? Like, bruh, you can't be doing that. 6 points. Like, this is a team you're gonna see in the playoffs. And Miami took this game like a playoff game.
Yeah, for
The
sure.
Sixers, I think, were a little bit too chill. I mean, As you said, it was a little bit close at the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, to be down 16 at the end of the first quarter and to let the Heat almost drop 40 on you, like the Heat are a good
Yeah.
offensive team, don't get me
Mm-hmm.
wrong, but they're no like, they're not like the Jazz or
Yeah.
the Nuggets
Mm-hmm.
or like the Mavericks last year, like as far as rating wise, they're more of a defensive team, and I think the Sixers just kind of could not stop them. I don't know if it was effort, I don't know if it was just miscommunication, but that I think stuck out to me, and I think another thing that stuck out was I don't think the Sixers are that deep. If Joel Embiid doesn't have
Mm.
it going, who's gonna drop 20 beside? Today was Tobias Harris, and
Yeah. Yeah.
he did his thing today.
Mm-hmm.
But if Joel Embiid's not having a day, they're not gonna win a game. Like you can't really expect him to carry you throughout the playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
especially given his situations with injuries, his situations with playing other big or playing a lot of other scores.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it revolves around him too much, which it should because he's their best player easily. Probably the him or Joker are the best centers, but
Mm-hmm.
he like it's weird. And the Heat I think came out and showed everybody like, hey, we're back. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
they looked literally like they looked in the bubble. Like they had
Mm-hmm.
effort, they had the shooting on. Bam was taking it personal against Ben Simmons, saying Bam said he's the defensive player of the year.
Yeah. First.
Ben Simmons then said
Yeah.
he's the defensive player of the year. And Bam was taking it personal, coming down the court, posting up Joel Embiid, and then just hitting the fadeaway jumper. I've seen it, but like, he
Mm-hmm.
looked like he was like on a mission today, like to let him know, like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
like I deserve this trophy. So that was my biggest takeaways. Not so much about the Sixers, honestly, just more about Joel Embiid. I just don't think they have enough depth around him to
Yeah.
win anything serious.
Yeah. For sure. And like, you know, watching their previous games, I've seen good things out of like guys like Shake Milton and Tyrese Maxey. I mean, Tyrese Maxey, he's a rookie, but he's shown some offensive potential off the bench and stuff. But uh, a lot of the times they don't get many minutes off the bench anyway. But they definitely need some more production out of them, 'cause I agree with you. Like you're saying, they don't got much depth off the bench. Like outside of those starters, it's looking a little tight, especially with Matisse Thybulle out. But even though he's out, like he can help you on defense, but he's not giving you much on offense. So I agree with you there. And then yeah, I have here in my notes like Joel Embiid was not attacking like in the first quarter. I don't know if it was because like he got that really early tech against Trevor Ariza. I don't know if that was it, but like even throughout the game, like even later in the game, he wasn't really attacking that much. So I don't know what it was. He was just like big chilling for most of the game. So I I don't know what it was, but you definitely expect more out of him. Like going into the game, the announcers are saying like Reggie Miller, he's like, oh, Joel Embiid's the most dominant big guy in the league right now, and blah 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 and stuff like that, and he ain't really show it. He ain't really show it today. So uh even though the Sixers are the one seed, I mean they have the potential to drop to second or third because they lost today, but it's pretty tough for the 76ers not to get first seed because they have to lose like the rest of their games. I believe they have two or three more, and then on top of that, the Nets or the Bucks have to win all of their games to get the
Yeah,
first seed. So, well, we'll see how
yeah.
it plays out. That it's just putting that doubt of that seed of doubt in my head again about the 76ers. Like, man, like, is this team really it? Is this team really finna make it
I
out?
mean, I've had that doubt all year. I mean, they
Yeah.
can do whatever they want in the regular season, but my thing is like, can you do it in the playoffs? And I told y'all they don't have depth. Like today,
Yeah.
they had their three. They don't have enough shooting besides Green, who's on and
Mm.
off all the time, and then Seth Curry. Seth Curry's Seth Curry. He's gonna, he's a Curry, so he's gonna hit threes. But other than that, they don't have a consistent spot up shooter who
Mm.
can actually dribble a ball and make his own
Yeah.
shot.
Mhm.
They don't have that. Today they had more. They had less turnovers, more fast break points, and more points in the paint, and they still lost.
Mhm.
So they did everything they're supposed to
But
do. But
and they lost by a good amount too.
yeah, they made it close at the end, but they
Mm,
were down 20 plus, and they just kind of made the game look like it was a 12-point game. No, it was
mm,
really a 20-point game.
yeah.
And my thing is, if you can't shoot in the playoffs, you're not gonna win. Like
Mm-hmm.
you have to shoot because today the Heat had what 6 more 3 pointers,
Mm-hmm.
and they won the game. So yeah, you gotta attack the paint, especially because you have the most dominant big men in the league. Um, you don't turn the ball over, and then you have to make sure that you are running on fast break, getting those freebies. And they did all those things. They just couldn't shoot today.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and that's been their hiccup in the past couple years in the playoffs. And I don't think Doc Rivers is going to change that thing. He can't lace him up and play. So,
Yeah.
I think they're in the same thing. I think
Yeah.
Miami's a team to look out for in the playoffs because
Yeah.
they match up with anybody in the playoffs well. They have a good wing defender in Butler, and they have a good big
Hmm.
man defender in Bam. So they match up with almost anybody.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you noticed, but Reggie Miller, like the, almost the whole time, or at least for most of the first half, uh, of the game, he was always like, "Oh, we're looking at a potential second round matchup here," and he kept on saying that over and over again. I was like, "Man, we get it," but still, like, I think
You know
Miami.
that dog, my guy Reggie Miller, bro. He's not that bad. I don't know why you and Rich
Well,
hate him.
well,
He's not bad.
he's definitely easy to make fun of though. But
He's easy to
anyways,
make fun of. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Chris
But
Webber's worse. So.
whatever. Anyways, no, like for I think other than I think if Miami runs into I think the only team that Miami would really have a trouble beating is Brooklyn right now. I think I think they have good chances against Milwaukee. You know, they've done it in the past, like against Giannis. Like they know how to defend him. They defend well. Uh, and then obviously the 76ers, they're still improving. Like they still gotta, they still have to work some kinks out in their system so far. Uh, but yeah, for sure, I think Miami, man, it's got me excited. Miami's like one of my favorite teams, especially after what happened last year. Like the start
Oh
of the
yeah.
playoffs, I knew they were a sleeper team, and then once they beat Milwaukee last season, I was like, yes sir, like they out here, they out here working, and that's what I like about them. They got that great culture to them, uh, uh, that grind culture. Uh, highlighted by Udonis Haslam. He
Oh
that
God. Uh,
that was
That
pretty
dude
funny.
came in, dropped 2 buckets, and got 2 techs in like
Yeah,
4 minutes.
yeah. I mean, he don't take no mess from nobody, but yeah, yeah, you definitely right. He's definitely better off on the bench. It was cool to see him play and get 2 buckets. But he's definitely better off the bench. Being a voice in the locker room and guiding these young guys.
I mean, he
Uh,
had 2 buckets.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, they're nice buckets too. Tough layups and whatever. But
I mean, in like 20 something less minutes, he only had 2 less points than Joel Embiid. So
yeah, okay. Well, yeah, that's definitely a good point there.
that's all I'm
Uh,
saying.
uh. Yeah, appreciate it, Smith. He Jamal Smith says glad to see you guys live. So appreciate you watching. Uh, but yeah, what do you, man? Another guy that went really quiet in my opinion was Ben Simmons. Like even on defense, like I feel like he wasn't really making much presence on defense either. Uh, uh,
I think this game was just something that you see every here and there to where like the whole team is just off. Besides
mm,
like one guy who obviously has to make the game close.
mm,
But besides Tobias Harris, everybody was off. Like there
yeah,
was no close
mm-hmm,
person on that team. Danny Green I think had 11 points. Everybody
mm,
else has single digits besides like Shea Milton.
mm,
So typically with the number one seed in the league, you're not gonna see where only 3 people and one of them is a bench warmer. Not a
mm.
bench warmer, but you know what I mean. Like he's
Yeah,
he Shea
yeah.
Milton's like straight off the bench.
Yeah.
Uh, and then Danny Green, who everybody knows how I feel about him,
Uh-huh.
um, hit double digits. So I mean, it was an off game for everybody, but I think Ben Simmons is just as not just as important as Joel Embiid because Embiid is important, but I think even if you take away Embiid or if you take away Simmons, they're gonna get you the same.
Mm-hmm.
distance into the playoffs. I think they have a
Yeah.
cap.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have a ceiling, and I don't think it's the finals. Personally, me, that's what I think. I could be wrong, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
probably not going to be. Um, yeah, they have a ceiling. They're not. They're not.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see like next week once these play-in tournaments get over with. Uh, we're gonna be well, once all the seeds are set, we're gonna be sending in our playoff predictions, comparing each other's. Uh, it's gonna be exciting. I'm excited. I'm ready. Uh, Miami's climbing up in the standings as well. Boston, it's I feel bad for Boston, low key. Like,
I don't.
you don't why not? Why not?
I mean, you got Steph Curry playing with all these bums, and now we're all, oh no, he's hurt. No, Jason Tatum could do the same thing Steph Curry's doing. I don't want to
Yeah,
hear that. Like
yeah.
you take the core that Jason Tatum still has. Who still
Hmm.
has Kemba Walker, Tristan Thompson, Robert Williams? What does Rich call him? The Time Lord.
Yeah. Time Lord, Time Lord.
Every
Everybody
time he
calls him
says it,
Time
he
Lord.
just gets so much. Oh, everybody. I didn't know everybody calls him that. I didn't really know him like that. And then yeah, they still have a really good team. I mean,
Hmm.
I even with Jalen Brown, I didn't. I think they also had a ceiling.
Hmm.
Um, and then so even with their ceiling and with the Sixers ceiling, I think that the true teams that can make it out the East are the Heat, the Bucks, and the Nets. If the Nets
Hmm.
stay healthy,
Hmm.
I think this is the year that the Bucks can actually run away and make it to the finals.
Hmm.
Because they're out of the spotlight. They're not having so much pressure as being the number one seed by a distance. I mean, right when they dropped down to three, and I think now they're fighting for two. They're not in the spotlight as much. I think that's good for them. A young team in the playoffs who
Hmm.
hasn't had a lot of success. When you're not in the spotlight, you do better. Like think about anytime LeBron joined the team, he's in the spotlight in the playoffs all
Hmm.
the time. And sometimes if you haven't won or if you haven't won enough in the playoffs, that can take a toll on you. And I think Giannis was realizing that hey,
Hmm.
like this is a lot. But
Hmm.
this year, like there's no expectations of them because everyone thinks about the Nets, the Sixers,
Hmm.
the Heat. But I think this is the year that the Bucks can do something. But that's something for a different video.
Yeah, for sure. Nah, uh, I mean, I feel like Boston was probably another one of the sleeper teams that could have done something if Jaylen Brown wasn't hurt. Uh, just because like their seating has been kind of low, and so people probably wouldn't have expected much out of them. But with that young core that and all that talent, especially on that top end, like I feel like they could have made a run, but with Jaylen Brown being out, I definitely don't see that no more. And then I agree with what you're saying. Like Jason Tatum, like he definitely has the ability to like score like at will, like on Steph Curry type stuff. He gets a lot of inspiration from Kobe. Uh, so he has the potential. He definitely has the skill set to do it. We'll
Uh,
we'll just have to see
I
if
was
he
gonna
does it.
I was gonna say real quick. I think if Jason Tatum does like if he goes off in the playoffs and they make it to the conference finals, I think that I could see them trading Jalen Brown.
Really?
Not that Jalen Brown is bad, but when
Mm-hmm.
you put two people who kind of play the same way, you're not gonna. When's the last time you've seen a team win a championship that played with two wings or as their best players? Like it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to do it like that. I think they kind of play the same way, and I think Jalen Brown can do really good on his own. I think Jason Tatum could do good on his own. So this is a time for Jason Tatum to show like, hey, I can carry the team. You
Mm-hmm.
trade him, and you actually get me good pieces that like different positions, more depth. I can see them trading Jalen Brown. Not saying that he's
Yeah.
not obviously good, because whoever trades for him is going to be they're going to be better.
Mm-hmm.
But I can definitely see the Celtics trading him off and actually like filling up the roster more to Jason Tatum's advantage instead
Mm-hmm.
of just having a bunch of stars on there
Yeah.
that don't sync up as well. Even though they sync up good, you know, it's kind of hard for them to play together when they play the same way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know what you mean. And Danny Ainge recently, he came out talking about like, uh, I mean, he said that their star players aren't likely to be traded, or they're not going to be traded. But you never know when it comes to these situations. But he did say that he was looking to make some changes with the team. So we'll see how it goes this offseason. And we'll see where Boston ends up in the playoffs, just like the 76ers and Miami Heat and all them. Uh, I w- I really can't wait to get these playoff seedings closer. Like
I
I'm
can't wait to watch the
yeah
playoffs like
yeah
bracket, man. That's gonna be good to watch.
yeah. All right. Well, I I think it's really good that Tyler Hero has come alive as of late these past couple of games. Like he's been coming out hitting like uh you know 20 points, and I actually saw a meme on Twitter the other day. It was a picture of Tyler Hero, and he was like, "This guy owns the Boston Celtics." Just because what happened in the playoffs last year, and then these past two games he was lighting them up too off the back to back. So I thought that was funny.
He's good, but I think he's so boosted. Oh my god.
I mean, throughout the season, I agree with you. Like he has been like probably pretty boosted. Like he's been underwhelming throughout the season, but like he's kind of like their X factor kind of. I mean, well, in a way, yeah, he's kind of their X factor because if he's coming out scoring well, uh, that just makes the Heat like so much more threatening. Cause low key the Heat. I mean, throughout the season, the Heat haven't really been known for their offensive, presence. But
Yeah.
they do low key have threats. Like obviously you got Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. They're both very versatile players that they can do play on both sides of the ball and uh, get to the lane, get to the free throw line a lot, hit jump shots. Uh, and then you have guys like Goran Dragic, who aren't necessarily the star players, but they could come off the bench or they could start if they wanted to. And he's crafty. He can create plays. He can get the offense going. Draw fouls as well. Kendrick Nunn. We'll see how he does. These coming playoffs because he didn't play much last playoffs except for in the finals. Uh, but he's also shown similar kind of playmaking abilities to Dragic, where he's crafty. He's a good cutter. Obviously, then you got Duncan Robinson. He can light you up from three, and he's always a threat. So you have to watch out for him. So they got pieces all over the floor. And they're definitely starting to come alive. I don't know if you caught this in the game, but I really like Miami's chemistry like because I highlighted it earlier, their rotations are like spot on like on defense like throughout the entire game. There's this one point when uh Jimmy and Bam were getting this defensive rebound and like there's no 76ers around them. They both grabbed the ball and they're both like fighting for it almost like they're both holding on to it and they like talk to each other for a minute and then they Jimmy Butler takes the ball down the court. I thought that was funny. Uh, did you see that?
I saw that, and then
Yeah.
he went down and break the shot
Oh
too.
yeah, he did. He did miss that shot. But
I think the only thing with the Heat this year, real quick, is that they can't catch teams with the element of surprise. Like people are knowing they're coming. Like last
mhm.
year, you saw the Heat in the playoffs. You're like, okay, they're gonna put up a good fight against the Celtics or
Mm,
against the but whoever they're playing.
yeah.
And even this year, and you would think they put up a good fight, and they won, and then they won, and then they won. You're like,
Mm,
okay,
mm,
this year, like say if they play the Bucks in the second round, or if they play the 76ers in the second round, like it's not a series to where you're like, oh, the 76ers got an easy, the Heat will probably take them to 6-5. No, like the Heat can beat any team in the East.
mhm.
Just the way they play. Their defense is crazy good. They can shoot and then they can go and get to the free throw line. And I think those
Mhm.
are the three things that they do well, especially with Jimmy and Bam setting up all the other guys. And if Goran can start getting somewhat healthy and being a threat off the bench,
Mhm.
they're gonna be just as exciting as they were last year. And I think if I was a team, I would not want to play them in the second round.
Yeah. Second, first round, it don't matter. Miami's gonna give you a tough fight. Uh, but yeah, man, I'm excited to watch them in the playoffs. Uh, as well as these other two teams. You got anything else to say real quick before we move on?
We can move to the next game.
All right. Moving on to this next game, Portland versus Phoenix. Man, this was a tough game, a fun game to watch. It was close throughout the whole game. You thought Phoenix was I kind of thought Phoenix was gonna run away with it towards the end of the third and the beginning of the fourth. I thought they were finna give it away, but nah, Damian Lillard's a beast, bro. Like that's why he's one of my favorite players, bro. I'm like, man, like especially late in the game, like. Cause at first, he started out solid, but he was he was driving a lot. Cause Phoenix's defense, I thought they played him great. Uh, I thought they played on everybody great throughout the game. They got a great wing guards and uh, unfortunately DeAndre Ayton was out, but it didn't really matter. I mean, their defense still held up pretty well. Uh, like on Damien's drives a lot of the time because they were guarding him high up, so he couldn't shoot those long bombs too much. Off those drives, I thought they were containing him well, like forcing him to pass and all that kind of stuff. Uh, but late in that game, he made him pay on those drives. Like he started. I mean, he continued to drive it, but he was starting to finish. He was hitting guys. Uh, he wasn't getting many calls this game, which I noticed. Like I feel like the Trailblazers wasn't getting much calls throughout this game. Uh, you could tell, Nurkic was frustrated, but
Yeah.
it was it was
Uh,
tough, especially in that last
yeah.
minute too.
Robert Covington, man, I
Hmm.
he had to make one free throw, just one. But I think the Trailblazers are good. The Suns, man, surprise team of the year for me. I didn't think they were gonna be this good.
Mm-hmm.
Like one game back of the first seed. I thought they were gonna probably push for the playoffs this season. Not top seed in the West. I did not
Hmm.
think that was gonna happen. Even when the Lakers were healthy, the Suns were right there.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's crazy. And I think the Suns just do it as a team. Like Booker was off today, but you have
yeah.
Chris Paul, you got Bridges, who I think is so underrated. Um, Jay Crowder, who I feel like is just there half the time. He's just that loud guy that plays and like always gets picked up somehow. Um, that's who I think how he is. Cameron Payne,
Yeah, he
Russell
was going
Westbrook,
hard. Yeah.
Russell Westbrook's old teammate doing dances and stuff. He's actually playing the game now,
Mm,
and he went off today. But as far as the Trailblazers, I just don't think they have depth. I think they miss Gary Trent.
mm-hmm.
Because Simons he doesn't do a lot. I think he's still really young. Um, but other than Carmelo and Ennis Kanter off the bench, like they didn't play Derrick Jones, they didn't play Harry Giles, they didn't play
Oh yeah, yeah.
anybody. They didn't. It was literally just three people off the bench, and I think that's not gonna work in the playoffs because those
Yeah.
close games, those tough games, you're gonna get tired, especially if the Trailblazers somehow make it to the play-in tournament. I think running an 8-man rotation is not the best thing you can do, especially with an extended season like
Mm-hmm.
this one. Um, but man, Dame went off, and I think a scary sight to see for other teams is CJ's getting healthy.
Yeah, yeah.
He he's getting back to what he was because he was going like probably having his best season this season before he got hurt,
Mm-hmm.
and he's getting back to that point. Um, the Trailblazers are gonna do their thing. I like how Dame only took 6 3-pointers because they were guarding him like
Yeah.
pretty tight, and he was attacking. He was shooting mid rangers. He was getting people involved. Carmelo had an off game today, so even how the Trailblazers playing with less people, Carmelo was off. They still only lost by one to probably I think the best team in the West because I don't think the Jazz without their two guards are
Mm,
still that good.
yeah.
Um, and that's just crazy to me how the Suns took that big jump. And even today, like you can see why they run, they shoot, they do everything well. They play as a team. Like as I said, Devin Booker was not doing good today, and they still ended up, taking care of business. And it feels like
Mm-hmm.
they've been taking care of business all year. They haven't been losing a lot of games they shouldn't be losing. And they're always competitive and close. Besides that one Clippers game that we picked wrong. Um, besides that one, obviously, our luck's not there, but
I I kind of had the same logic this game, like, 'cause that last game, I was expecting I think I picked. Yeah, I picked the Portland Trailblazers, but I I went like even though they were coming off a back-to-back, yeah, that was the second game of a back-to-back. They ended up getting blown out. So I thought, okay, I get the same thing's happening again. Okay, they're coming off a back-to-back. They're going against the number two, potentially number one seed in the West. Uh, I think uh, I think Phoenix is probably going to take it, but uh, I mean Phoenix did end up winning it, but the spread was uh Portland, I mean, Phoenix need to win by 1.5 or something like that, right?
Yeah, that's something crazy. I think
Yeah.
Portland was the winner of the spread.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, but I just don't think I think that Norman Powell trade was good because they give him a good defender,
Mhm.
especially in the starting lineup with Robert Covington. Because Dame and CJ, they're okay at defense. Like they'll get
Mhm.
by playing defense, but they're not gonna go and guard Steph Curry or go
Mhm.
guard Devin Booker. They're gonna make him work on the other end, but it's gonna be really Norman Powell and Robert Covington that are gonna guard those players. And I think Robert Covington had a good game. He missed those two
Mhm.
free throws, which you can't do that in the playoffs. But
Mhm.
I think Norman Powell doesn't bring a lot. Like he brings defense, but he takes away the depth on the bench because Gary Trent was a big piece for this Trailblazers team. And I think without Gary Trent, like who's gonna control the offense? Because you always see either Dame or CJ on the floor. One of them is always out there, and one of them's always resting. I think they're dangerous when they're both out there because you can't sag off either or because they're just gonna knock the three down. But then when it's just one of them, the whole defense is just helping over. And then if you have a game like today where Carmelo's going 1 for 5 from the 3 point line, they're gonna
Mhm.
keep helping over.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this depth is in the playoffs because obviously when the playoffs hit, everything resets. Your record goes away. It's just you and the other team, best
Mhm.
first one to four. So
Uh, I think yeah, I kind of agree with you. Like that trade was kind of weird to me, like Gary Trent for Norman Powell and I think it was like maybe like a second round pick or something. Uh I thought it was a weird trade because it kind of just felt like an even like you're getting the same player back pretty much. Like Gary Trent was solid on defense. He was also kind of a flamethrower, like a streaky shooter. Like he could light you up from three. And Norman Powell, I don't think he's as threatening from three, but he can shoot the three pretty well. But they both had some ability to drive the ball as well. So like it was a weird trade for me. I was like I didn't think you really needed to trade Gary Trent Jr., especially after, what happened last year in the bubble and stuff. I feel like he wasn't getting much shine uh this season, but like just cuz they weren't playing him that much. But like I was saying, like it was such a weird trade because I feel like you really didn't gain anything from it. Uh, uh,
yeah, I think you upgraded a little bit on defense by size, but I think
mhm,
you gave away a lot of depth because Norman
mhm,
Powell starts. He's not coming off the bench, so you traded a
mhm,
bench player, your sixth man,
mhm.
because I think Trent was a sixth man. I don't think it was Carmelo.
Yeah, yeah.
But you had a rotation off the bench with Gary Trent, Canner, and Carmelo. Like that's a big three off the bench. Like
Mhm,
that's good to have. And you traded the best person out of those three for a guy who's going to be in the starting lineup who probably won't get the ball a lot
mhm,
because you have Dame, CJ, Nurkic. Like Norman Powell's not a spot up shooter. He's like, give me the ball and I can go get us a bucket.
mhm,
You're not gonna get the ball when you have Dame and CJ on the team, and even
mhm,
Nurkic. You're not gonna get the ball a lot.
mhm,
You're gonna get the ball as far as catch and shoot, but they're not gonna allow you to go play one on one when they have probably one of the best point guards that we've seen, and then CJ, who is probably their ultimate bucket getter.
mhm. Yeah, yeah. They got two of the best ISO players in the league right now. Uh, yeah. Norman Powell, like he's gonna be kind of relegated to like catch and shoots or like cuts to the basket and stuff like that, and kind of creating off the dribble once in a while, like maybe attacking a catch and stuff, but or attacking a closeout. Uh, but Portland is such a weird team because like every time I watch a Portland game, like they always bring up like these stats. Like they're like number two in offensive rating, but they're also like second to last in defensive rating. And then they're also like, despite being second in offensive rating, they're like almost almost last in assists per game too, which is weird because you think when you think of a really good offense, you think of like the Utah Jazz, like they're always moving the ball, like it's not just one guy doing everything, or you think of like 2013, 2014 Spurs, like everybody's moving the ball around and lots of passing, finding the open guy, stuff like that. So, well, when you hear that they're like almost dead last in assists and yet they're the top one of the top or the second uh like highest rated offensive team in the league and they're the like second lowest defensive rating in the league. It's just like really weird and it's really not a recipe for success, especially come playoff time. Like especially that defensive rating, like that's not gonna get you far in the off or in the postseason. I mean, even if your offense is as good as it is. Uh, so I really feel like because obviously they got great pieces, but I think the coach is definitely going to change this season because they have to change that their defensive scheme. And they probably got to get those assists up, so they probably have to. I mean, with the coaching change, they're probably going to change their offense as well. So hopefully that can help. Because also Terry Stotts, he also always plays like uh uh Ennis Canner and Carmelo Anthony, but when they're both on the floor at the same time, like individually, they don't play great defense, but then when they're both out on the floor together, the defense gets like even worse. Uh, and they're literally like the second rotation, like Ennis Canner and Carmelo Anthony, like so they're out there often, and they're also consistently playing bad defense. Like defensively, Ennis Canner, he's never been that great on defense. He's known for his offensive, like in the post or and attacking the glass, getting offensive rebounds and putbacks and stuff like that. And Carmelo's just like older, and he's never, unless it was like in the playoffs or like in critical moments. Like he's never really put effort into playing defense. So the fact that Terry Stotts he consistently like puts those two guys out there, knowing that they're both terrible on defense, and when they're both out there, it makes the entire team worse on defense. Like it's just weird, and yeah, I feel like for sure like he's leaving after this season because they're probably losing like first or second round.
Yeah, I think they're just like last season. They're gonna be a first round exit, but it's like there's always one thing that holds them back. Because when you look at Dame and you look at CJ and you look at Nurkic, it's like other than that, who else is that valuable to them? Really nobody.
Mhm.
That's why they're always a low seed in the West. But I think they just kind of play at a time where the West is just way too stacked,
Mhm.
and having a good backcourt is just like fitting in because everybody in the West either has a good backcourt or they're gonna have one player that exceeds everything, like Luca. Like we don't have a the Mavericks don't have a really good backcourt, but they have Luca. But then when you look at like the Warriors when healthy, the Suns, the
Mhm.
Jazz, everybody has a good backcourt or they're gonna have an MVP type player. So the Trailblazers, just because they have Dame and CJ, don't mean oh they're above the rest. They literally are just fitting in. Um, so they're gonna have to break out the team and do something. They're gonna have to look at it piece by piece and see what's needed because I don't expect a lot from them in the playoffs. I mean, even if they hit the sixth seed, I think they would be playing like the Clippers. I'm guessing,
Yeah.
and that's that'd be fun to watch if Beverly plays though. That would be real fun to
I
watch. I'm not gonna lie.
it would be fun unless like he gets like Dame or CJ hurt like how he did Russell or Westbrook back in the day. Uh but we'll see we'll see when that comes or when it comes to that. But yeah, I mean I kind of disagree with you like their backcourt isn't their like Dame's that go-to guy. Well, I mean both of them are. Uh whenever you need something done, like they could get it done for you. But it's really their defense, like in my opinion. It's like their defense just needs to be better. And I feel like their defense could be better if, maybe they instead of playing like Cantor and Carmelo at the same time, maybe they put Nurkic and Carmelo out there at the same time, or something like that.
I mean, either way, if Carmelo's out there, your defense is gonna start tanking.
Yeah, I mean, but I feel
I
like
mean, he wasn't really that good when he was young, and now he's at the end of his career. You know he's not gonna want to waste his energy on defense.
hmm yeah, I feel like Carmelo's like presence on defense could be covered up if it was just him being a weakness on defense. Cause like I said, like he if he puts effort into defense, like he can play good defense. But Kanter on the other hand, like he's just a liability, and especially on the defensive end. And like I just can't Kanter is not that great for them in my opinion. He's I think he probably should have been traded or something, but he was too valuable at the time because like Nurkic was hurt like around the trade deadline, and uh that I mean that's why they kept him. But I don't think Cantor is really that valuable, and he could probably be traded away. Uh
See, I was gonna say I don't know about that one though, because other than him on the bench, obviously Carmelo, but Canner can get you a bucket.
mhm
He's that post player. He can get you he get you 6 points, 8 boards today in 16 minutes. Like you're not gonna pass that up. He doesn't demand the ball. He can get a lot of offensive rebounds. He's gonna get the rebound on defense. His pick and roll defense is a little bit shaky. My thing is if they
mhm
are really wanting to step up their defense, why not play Derrick Jones Jr.? He's athletic, he's
mhm
young, not young, but in a sense, but why not play him and let it just instead of letting him sit on the bench, you know what I mean?
mhm
Like if they really wanted to play better defense, they would start Derrick Jones, not start him, but play him a lot more than zero
mhm
minutes.
mhm. Uh, And speaking of Yusuf Nurkic, though, it's good to see him back.
Yeah.
He's that big guy that they definitely missed. He brings a lot of stuff that they kind of need. Like the Trailblazers need passing, and Nurkic can get you some decent passing. I mean, they don't run the offense through him, obviously, but when he does get the ball. Uh, like he's able to make a play for you. He's a good finisher. He had a couple of good finishes, especially in the first half of this game. Uh, like either off the post or just like uh, catch it on the roll and finish and stuff like that. And then he's also good on defense. Like at the start of the game, like he was guarding Chris Paul 1-on-1, and Chris Paul like airballed the mid range.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Chris Paul came back like in the second half, and he started winning them the that mid range. But it's it still shows that he's definitely better for them on defense. They need that big body out there, but it's just tough when he's not like for the majority of the season. He's just not there, and we'll have to see if like he stays healthy like going into the playoffs and stuff. Hopefully he can, because he's definitely beneficial to the team. He's a good player. He just needs to be healthy, and it's just a huge question, a huge if uh, is is his health.
yeah, sure. As far as the Suns, man, I don't know if they have a ceiling. I
Mm,
haven't seen them in the playoffs. I haven't seen too many of their games, so I don't really know what to expect. 'Cause sometimes you see a seed that's number one, like the Sixers. I don't really see them winning the championship this year.
yeah.
They're the number one seed.
Mm,
Suns are the number two, but they're a game back. So it's like
mm,
I don't know what their ceiling is. Like I need to see them in the first round and see. Because if they play a healthy Clippers, a healthy Lakers, a healthy Jazz, even a healthy Nuggets, I just don't see them beating those teams because those teams have made it to the playoffs and those teams have won before. Besides the Jazz, to a sense, but um, we'll see, man. It's gonna be fun seeing Devin Booker in the playoffs. It's gonna be
I
fun seeing Chris Paul in the playoffs.
I kind of disagree with you there. I think their ceiling is the finals. I feel like
I don't know about
I
that.
feel like
I don't
that,
know about
like
that.
especially with their seeding, and then but they have the potential to get the number one seed too. So I
Yeah, but
I
I mean, they haven't. Half of their players haven't played a playoff game. So what they play every day, fast, fast break, shooting, all that. In the playoffs, most of that gets taken away. Like you have to start making like you're not gonna get a lot of open looks anymore. You have to make contested looks. It's just I think there's a big jump from playing in the regular season and then going the bubble, going undefeated, then coming back and playing that same competitiveness. But then when you actually jump into the playoffs, like when they play a healthy Lakers or even a healthy Clippers, a Nuggets, I
mm,
just don't see them actually taking and winning 4 games yet because they're still really young. Besides Chris Paul, this is a young team. I don't see Chris Paul taking them over that jump, especially because Chris Paul chokes in the playoffs. Like, let's not forget about
mm.
that. Yeah, yeah, he's Chris Paul. He's a god at point guard, but dude is a playoff choker. So let's not forget about that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the Suns give me more optimism than the 76ers for sure. Uh,
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
I think it'll be really beneficial if the Suns are able to obtain that one seed because they avoid the Lakers in the first round if they're because the Lakers are likely to get seventh. Uh, so unless they face the Lakers first round, I feel like they're probably like I understand what you're saying, but I think I think the Suns are probably my favorite to go to the finals. Uh, I mean the Clippers could probably give them problems. They've been a little wishy-washy. I mean their offense. Oh, I think their offense has been number one in the league.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I could see a lot of teams from the West, but
Uh,
I just think it's gonna be health because a lot of
yeah.
teams are getting healthy at the right time. So it's about seeing who like what team takes longer
Mhm.
to get back in rhythm. Because in the playoffs, you can't like say, okay, I need 3 games to get back in rhythm, because then you're gonna be down 3-0.
Mhm.
I think that extra week for the play-in tournament's gonna help.
Yeah.
Uh, and I truly believe that the Trailblazers are gonna be in the play-in tournament.
You think so? It's cause.
I think the Lakers they'll win a couple games. I just don't like what the Trailblazers are doing. Like I
Mm,
don't like it at all. Like Dame's gonna do his thing, CJ's gonna do his thing, but I don't like what I'm seeing. Like
mhm.
they're good, but an 8-man rotation, like no, I don't like that at all.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. That'll definitely get worn down in the playoffs, but it's cause I feel like it's hard for them to get the seventh seed because uh they have the tiebreakers over the Mavericks and the Lakers.
Yeah,
So,
that's true, but at the same time, you got to think they're only literally a half a game above that. Well, yeah, technically they're 2 games because they have that tiebreaker.
mhm.
But if the Trailblazers lose the next game, the Lakers win the next one. You know what I mean? I think the Lakers are already above them.
Uh,
So because they're right there. They're literally 41-30 are the Trailblazers and 40-30 are the Lakers. They're half a game back. So if
I'm
the
ch
Trailblazers lose another one and the Lakers win 2 games, Lakers are back at 6
I'm just checking. I'm trying to check the Trailblazers schedule real quick. Their next game. Uh, it's showing that they only have.
against the Nuggets.
Yeah, it says
As
they only
I
have
mean,
one game against the Nuggets.
that's a
So,
loss.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't write it off
The
as a
Lakers
loss.
play the Pacers.
Uh, yeah, yeah, that's. But what wouldn't
And
that
the
what?
Mavs got the Raptors. Okay, so this is gonna be a fun. This is gonna be a fun week.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely think the Trailblazers have the hardest last game. Out of all three of them, the Lakers could probably definitely beat the Pacers, but the Pacers have been. I mean, uh, I love Karis LeVert. Like Karis LeVert, he's been going hard. Like he's such a great story too. Like I'm so happy for him that he was able to get over that cancer. Like thank God. Like 'cause he's been balling out. Like he's been hooping hard. Like he's been showing out. Like he's that guy in Indiana. Like dropping 30 points, a lot of assists, rebounding solidly. Like, yeah, he's cool to watch, in my opinion. But Uh, you know, the Lakers will probably, you know, that's probably one of the easier games that the Lakers have. Uh, uh, Portland and the Nuggets, that's definitely a tough game for Portland to win, especially
The
because
Nuggets are still trying to go into the third seed.
yeah, yeah. And then the Nuggets are kind of hot right now, and everybody's raving about MPJ and stuff. And then Jokic, MVP season, potentially we'll see, but definitely MVP caliber season. He's been doing everything, tough buckets, assists, rebounding, everything. And then MPJ to complement him. I mean, the thing is about the Nuggets too, like, they've been dealing with the injuries too. Like they had to sign Austin Rivers because Will Barton went out, and then obviously Jamal Murray torn ACL. Uh, and then they've kind of been running short at the guard position a little bit, but which is why they had to sign Austin Rivers for the rest of the season. But that's really that's my main question right now with the Nuggets, like their guard position. But other than that, they're I mean, even though they're shorthanded at the guard position, like they still look good. Like they're still hot. Uh, so we'll have to see how it is in the playoffs for them. But yeah, they're definitely a hard team to beat. And Dallas, you said Dallas plays Toronto. uh, I think Dallas has a good chance of winning that game. I mean, Toronto is kind of a sleeper team. They can beat a lot of teams, but it just hasn't happened this season. And I it's
Biggest
probably
disappointment of the season right there is Toronto.
yeah, yeah. You had a pick earlier in or
I had to pick
earlier,
early in the season. I had them
yeah,
going to the I think the Eastern Conference Finals. I said I
yeah,
knew it,
mhm,
and I thought
yeah,
they're talented enough. They
yeah.
just I don't know what it was.
Yeah, I mean they've lost a lot of close games, and then a lot of games haven't been that close either. So
Yeah,
yeah, kind of a weird season for them. And then also like even at the trade deadline, they had Gary Trent going off for like 50 points and stuff like that, and you kind of thought like, oh, like he could be a new like a star for them or something. And then ever since those couple of games when he was hot,
got hurt.
he yeah, yeah, he got hurt a little bit, and then he just hasn't been, that great for them. So
Yeah,
I mean, Dallas is, definitely favored to win that game, but
we'll
uh,
see.
Toronto can be slept on.
Nothing's guaranteed. Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's gonna set up some good potential playoff matchups.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I'm ready for this next week, and
That playing bracket.
yeah, that playing bracket, and then man, I'm ready to see these playoffs, and I'm ready to make my predictions, cause uh, just cause like last year, I feel like I made a pretty good prediction with the Miami Heat, but that was never official though. I never made that official. I just I kept that to
Okay.
myself.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
made
No, for sure, for sure,
I'm
bro,
I'm
for
telling
sure,
you, bro.
for sure.
I never
No,
made
me
that
too, bro.
official.
I chose the Lakers over the Heat in the finals, but I just kept it to myself.
Well, bro,
No, I feel you. I kept it to myself. I was like, who? Why do I need to tell everybody? Like I believe in it myself, and it happened.
All right, whatever, bro, whatever. Anyways, but that's why I'm looking forward to this season. I'm looking forward to making some predictions and hopefully getting them right. We'll see how it turns out, but uh, we'll see who's the most right out of all of us.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But w- did you make any picks, or
No,
you were at
I
work?
was
You
waiting
were,
for Rich
yeah.
to make picks. No, I
Oh,
wasn't at
okay.
work today.
Yeah.
I was resting.
Yeah, yeah. Getting that rest. You got your second dose of the vaccine.
Yeah.
Uh, I got my first dose last week, so I don't know when they
What'd you
ex
get?
I got Pfizer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody get vaccinated. Let's end COVID. Let's get past this. Uh, I'm ready. I'm ready to be fully vaccinated. I know it took you like a month to get the second dose, right?
Yeah, you gotta wait like 20 some days.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, I'm ready. I mean, potentially, Richard had the idea of like once we all get vaccinated, we could all meet up and do the podcast in person. We'll see how that turns out too. But yeah,
Yeah, especially with our schedules, and they're gonna be
mm,
so different now.
yeah, yeah.
Um, because Richard, he's off 2 days.
Mhm.
Me and him are off on one of the same days, and
Mhm.
then you're off on random days. So it's just gonna
Yeah.
be unique. But we're gonna try to do as much for the playoffs
Mhm.
for you guys, because especially that play-in tournament, we'll try to do
Yeah.
something nice for that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I'm excited. I know you're excited. Uh, everybody's excited for these playoffs.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially yeah. It's 'cause I feel like it's gonna be competitive, like I'm almost all around. Uh, I mean, the East is probably the weaker. I mean, probably definitely the weaker conference, but there's definitely potential, like
It's gonna be
solid.
fun to watch the East. The matchups that I'm
Yeah,
looking at right now, they are not bad. The matchups in the West are not bad as well. So it's gonna
yeah,
be good.
yeah, yeah. The East has some solid potential for some upsets there, but definitely more so in the West. Like some of those games, even in the first round, they could probably go either way. Some of those series, so I'm looking forward to that, man. Like I'm excited. But
Same.
yeah, I think that'll be all for us tonight. Robin, I think you gotta work in the morning, right?
Yeah, we'll see
Yeah.
how I feel with this dose. So we'll see how I feel.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that'll be all for us tonight. Thank you all for watching. Like I said, leave us a like. If you enjoy the content, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Uh, hit us up on our Gmail at shotcallershow at gmail.com. Hit us up on Twitter, Instagram at shotcallershow. Uh, we're everywhere you can find podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, everywhere you can find podcasts. We're on there. This is a Shot Callers signing out. Y'all have a good night.